I think about my wife. She calls me out all the time of, hey, you gotta let go. You gotta just let that go. Because it's easy just to hold on, but that creates an anchor that creates roots, and it's the root of a weed, not the root of fruit that would go forward into the future. And I think, to your point, continuously looking out towards the future with hope, with optimism, that things, as challenging as they might feel right now, will be even better. I think one of the greatest lessons that I learned from Dan Sullivan in Strategic Coach was we always have to make our future bigger than our past. And when we do that, it's always working forward towards something even bigger, even better, even brighter, which is where, with your story, with your narrative, that's the modern banker. And just that name alone, the modern banker. What does that mean? What does it mean to be a modern banker today? What might it mean to be a modern banker going forward into the future? What does that mean? Modern banker.
The modern banker has got to act and be different than a relationship manager of the past. They have to be a resource manager. A modern banker needs to wake up every morning and think, how can I provide value today to somebody versus how can I sell something today? The modern banker will be successful as a resource manager, as a value provider, as a trusted advisor, although that phrase is kind of well worn now. They'll be successful if two other things happen. If the culture provides tools for them to succeed and their leader is on the same page behaviorally with them. Too often I see a lot of discontinuity between what the website says, what we teach bankers in a classroom, and then what they actually experience in a team meeting or a pipeline meeting or in a coaching session with their leader. The website says, we want to build partnerships. We're a trusted advisor. And in the team meeting, all I hear about is numbers, numbers, numbers. So the modern banker is someone who must build trust, must provide value on an ongoing kind of basis, and must be a resource. In a recent statistic, in small business America, bankers were viewed and seen as someone who's most trusted only 17% of the time. In other words, when a small business needed help, they would only go to their banker 17% of the time. Bankers and Google were the same number.
Wow.
We have got to work really hard as an industry to provide that level of trust, to provide that level of value on an ongoing kind of basis. You know, when I was a banker, we controlled 74% of the financial services marketplace. We now control less than 14%. We've allowed this to happen to ourselves because we had hubris. We thought everybody has to come to us for loans and deposits and all these kinds of things. And now we know that FinTech, non-banks, you name it, are stealing our thunder and stealing our customers, and we've allowed that to happen.
You mentioned this idea. There's the trust aspect, which I know, which is it's a key element of the framing of the modern banker. Trust-based sales, but you also mentioned resource manager. Let's put the trust piece on the side for just a second. We're going to loop back around that. Resource manager. What does that mean? What does it mean to be a resource manager?
I wake up every day and either in my portfolio, in my community, with my centers of influence or my prospects, I am proacting to them based on what they need. They don't need loans. They don't need deposits. They need to manage their cash better, manage their growth, manage information. They need to manage those kinds of things. And a resource manager goes beyond product to people and tries as best they can to understand the problems and the priorities, and then works hard to provide resources to solve the problem. And that may not be their current bank. Charles Green and I got to be really good friends. Charlie wrote The Trusted Advisor. And one day I said to Charlie, what's your definition of a trusted advisor in banking? He said a trusted advisor banker is that banker who is willing to refer their best customer to their most challenged competitor because the banker knows that the competitor can do a better job for their client in that particular service. When you are selflessly willing to do that,
Yeah.
you are a trusted advisor. And so I just added the mantra of resource manager because that kind of encapsulates all those things and also puts together the fact that when I become a resource to you as your business, when you wake up in the morning and you say, I've got money in motion,